Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of Iron Port. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by Serene Insurance, Ball PLC, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Link Network Services Limited, Meridian Port Services Limited, and Phoenix Insurance. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Iron Port is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Now, this week we are discussing how to strengthen professionalism and also innovation within the freight forwarding fraternity. And we had in the studios some members representing the various associations within the port and maritime industry to do justice to this particular subject. Let's take a listen.
First of all, I'll begin with Nana Frederick Adjumaya-Freata. How you describe your role in facilitating trade at the ports?
Thank you very much, Kennedy. The freight forwarder is a very, very integral part of international trade, as you all know. We are specialized intermediaries that make sure that everything international trade happens. By intermediaries means we interface with all the agencies that operate at the port. All, I'm not saying almost all, but all. So all of them mentioned in the MDAs, ministries, departments, agencies, the port operators, terminal operators, shipping lines. We interface with every other one.
Yes.
And we make sure that, cargo moves efficiently, safely, and at a very cost-effective way. So without a freight forwarder, there will be no international transportation. Absolutely. Yeah. That's how critical our role is.
All right. Mr. Ofosu-Appiah, how would you describe the current state of freight forwarding in Ghana?
Thank you, Ken. I will say that the industry is active, but uneven. And there's a strong operational experience. The industry is seized with people with strong operational experience. Yet we have gaps when it comes to professionalism.
Yes.
Structured professionalism. We have gaps when it comes to data discipline and technology adoption. So if you ask of the current state of the industry, I think this is a very simple picture of it. But then the next phase must move into experience-led, practice. It must move from experience-led practice. That's what we've been doing for all this time.
Right.
A lot of experience leads everything that we do. But if you look at what is happening globally, we must begin to tap into the systems-led approach to delivering service. I'm sure when we align our efforts in this manner, we will be able to rub shoulders with any freight forwarder association or any freight forwarder globally. We would have counted ourselves as being able to match our peers. Of course, if you are looking at those in the first world as standard, we'll be able to match them.
Right.
When we lend ourselves to the systems experience.
Let me come to Mama Hetty, Madam Henrietta Opong, and find out from you, how has the industry evolved over the years, and to tie it into what Mr. Ofosu-Appiah just said about how far you've come, how active the industry has been at this material point in time.
The industry over time has evolved in so many ways. When it comes to the initial stages, the processes of documentation and all those things have changed over time.
Right.
Now we are in the digital world where we are all trained to be able to accommodate the new systems that are in place now.
Awesome. Mr. Chris Wola Esikpe, let me find out from you, in terms of professionalism, there have often been concerns from some, stakeholders, clients, so to speak, importers and exporters, perhaps who are dissatisfied or not satisfied with some services rendered by some of your colleagues. How are you ensuring that you actually inject that high element of professionalism to meet best practices?
Very well, Ken. So it is accurate to say that in the past, people sort of thought the freight forwarding business was for people who were less educated, who probably dropped out of school and didn't find anything to do, and therefore decided to go into the ports and begin to do one or two shenanigans just to make a living. It is no longer the case.
Right.
There is a huge gamut of very professional people working in the trade and freight forwarding industry today. And it is not uncommon to walk into any freight forwarding agency today and see that their staff are very highly educated, minimum university degree to begin with, and they are doing what can match what pertains anywhere else in the world. So I say with every confidence that the freight forwarding industry in Ghana today is very professional. People benchmarking their practices against what happens in the USAs of this world, in the Brazils of this world, in the Europes of this world. So yes, we have come from a beginning that didn't seem too exciting to people, but we have gotten to a point where people are happy about what the freight forwarding community in Ghana today is doing.
Absolutely. Awesome. Nana, let me come back to you and find out, do you have a code of conduct that your members adhere to in the delivery of their duties as freight forwarders or customs house agents in Ghana?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this issue. If you permit me, I wanted to say something bit about our current state, but I don't know which one will come first.
You can take that.
I mean, our industry, be that as it may, is about a $2 billion industry.
Yeah.
And is in our current state or our current phase is a rapidly growing industry. I mean, characterized by infrastructure development, rapid digital adoption, but is also fraught with challenges like high operational costs. Indeed, we don't have a good reputation when it comes to cost of doing business. It's been cited as about the most expensive port in the sub-region. And that's our challenge. But otherwise, it's a rapidly growing, and we're about the 5th when it comes to logistics, rated by Statista in Africa.
Okay.
So it's a very dynamic industry, I must say. I mean, we have to just work at the challenges, which is mainly to do with cost of doing business, operational cost. But when it comes to professional ethics, I mean, I come from the Customs Brokers Association Ghana, QBAG.
Yes.
And our motto is honesty and efficiency.
Right.
So, I mean, if you come there and you have to go through vetting, these are one of the things we want to take you through first.
If you're applying for membership.
Exactly.
Right.
Because it's an industry, like I'm saying, it's about a $2 billion industry now.
When you talk about $2 billion, is it for Ghana or Africa?
Ghana.
Ghana, okay.
I'm talking about Ghana.
Right.
We're about the 5th. I mean, rated by Statista. I mean, that's the foremost, data churning industry, institute in the industry. And so there's a lot of money that, passes through the industry.
Right.
So that's why there's the need for high professionalism and ethics. Because people end up, back in the days, end up taking importers' duty and things, and then they disappear. I must say that was in the early days, or the days where we were called agents. These days, where people don't even want that accolade.
Yeah, sure.
We are freight forwarders, and I'm happy you addressed it as such.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of professional and ethical training, because what there is that most often than not, like we all know, shipping thrives on predictability.
Absolutely.
But in our space, where we have a few challenges, even though we have, come a long way when it comes to infrastructure, there are still some challenges.
Right.
So often the case is that you will be able to, say, promise your importer or the shipper that we can take care of your cargo within a certain period.
Yeah.
And then when you get onto the field, unfortunately, you are not able to make it within that period of time.
Yeah.
So, hitherto our coming to office, agents or freight forwarders will either turn off their phones or find a way not to speak to the shipper or the importer because they've not been able to meet the time.
Sure.
And it's not of their doing because sometimes there are congestions, there are transfer delays of containers. These are things that you cannot predict by the time your cargo is landing. Yeah. And so you often are not able to meet the times you have promised your importer. So ethics is where you are able to carry the importer along. Not physically to the port, but carry them along, be giving them briefing, updating them. Some of the things we tell our people is that when you draw out your clearing plan, probably share portions of it with the importer so that they can follow along the milestones as you go along. So when there's a hitch, it's not as though you promise them this number of days or this hours and then you are not able to deliver.
What do you do to such people who drag your name in the mud and put you in bad light?
Okay, I mean it's a very simple. We have a very simple arrangement in place as in the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. You know, we are bound by our own contracted regulations, which we call our constitution. We have our own ethics rule. We have our standard trading condition, which we borrowed from the British International Freight Forwarders Association, BIFA. And you see, give functions as both a standards body and a stabilizer within the port ecosystem. Right. And to just give you an example, once you're talking about violation, when Act 891 was promulgated, Sections 43 thereof defined who a customs broker should be. Okay, and it says that it must be an indigenous Ghanaian. Okay, immediately we realize that some blue chip companies that belong to us were going to fall foul of the law. I mean, so in keeping with the law, we gave them notice and followed up to for them to work their situation so that they can be accepted by the dictates of Section 43 of Act 891. Okay, so, and we dealt with them, and they understood the situation. Okay, some reworked their positions, some left. But that is the beauty of what we can do to our own men. And when I talk about blue chip companies, these are companies, and if you look at the way we take our dues from our members, it is per declaration. Okay. So this was a very difficult decision for us to take, but we took it.
And that guarantees your revenue?
Yeah, something which otherwise would have guaranteed our revenue, but we took such a decision, and they left us. Right. Okay. But so that tells you the mileage that we are prepared to travel to rope in even our blue chip members. Right. So come to think of the brown chip members. Okay, so we do not joke at all with standards or code of conduct, and thankfully we have too many tools available to help us lock these things in place, okay, so that it doesn't look like somebody is being treated preferentially. Right. Okay. We have the Customs Act. We have, like I've mentioned already, we have our own standard trading condition. We have the Act 891, and we have the customs regulations, which deals with the aspects of customs brokerage. So, trust you me, as a gift member, and we've done it over and over again, and come to think of it, on our ethics board, the membership is made up of all of our past presidents.
Right. Let me come to Mr. Esikwe and find out from you whether there are certification or licensing requirements that you would promote for your members in order to ensure that they adhere to the statutes and operate within the confines of the standards that you prescribe.
Yeah, very much so. So first of all, for you to even become a member, you need to meet certain basic requirements. Right. And once you meet those, we give you the recommendation to get you registered in the various certification spaces within the port ecosystem. Yeah. So without those, you cannot be, first of all, we won't register you, we won't give you a certification. and we'll register you to be able to operate within the port certification system. And continuously, for as long as there are new developments and evolutions in the port trading and freight forwarding space, we encourage our members to take advantage of every single opportunity to upgrade their staff, to get the right certifications, and be able to operate within the port system and to be able to match up with the best practices across the port operating system globally.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you had occasions where people come in to report one of your members to you for wrongdoing?
We've had quite a few. And as Oforiatta said,
yes,
our code of ethics hinders on honesty, transparency, and regulatory enforcement.
Absolutely.
So due to that, when there are wrongdoings, we also have our code of ethics, which we sanction, sometimes punish. We investigate the situation, and then we'll take it from there, depending on the level of commitment.
Yeah.
Those were some representatives from the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. We call them GIF, and also the Association of Customs House Agents Ghana. We call them ACHAG, and also the CUBAC, which is the Customs Brokers Association of Ghana, and also Freight Forwarders Association of Ghana. There, talking about how they are adapting to technologies and also how they are ensuring that their members exhibit professionalism in the discharge of their duties. Eye on the Port returns after this break.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP will feel ya, huh? Will be feel. Goil, good energy. Ja, ya, ya.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
So welcome back from the break. Now local news and activities happening within the port and maritime industry next. The director of the Port of Tema, Tebon Zuma Esquire, on Wednesday, 1st April 2026, welcomed a high-powered delegation from Burkina Faso led by the Minister of State for Territorial Administration and Mobility, Emile Zebo, to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The visit formed part of Emile Zebo's high-level diplomatic mission to Accra, aimed at streamlining transit operations through Ghana's port and strengthening bilateral relations between Ghana and Burkina Faso. He commended the management of GPHA for the efficient handling of transit cargo, as well as the modern infrastructure and systems in place. He emphasized that Ghana's ports remain critical to Burkina Faso's economic stability and regional trade connectivity. He further expressed his commitment to working closely with GPHA to address challenges affecting transit trade and to enhance operational efficiency for the mutual benefit of both countries. Tebon Zuma Esquire, who represented the Director General of GPHA, Major General Paul Seydou Tanyakulonu, assured the delegation of the authority's readiness to take all necessary steps to resolve challenges faced by transit operators in the course of their business.
We are looking to see the day that all the Burkina traffic will come to Tema Port, so that this will be your home port.
He also lauded the long-standing partnership between Burkina Faso traders and GPHA and called for deeper collaboration to further strengthen the relationship. As part of the visit, the delegation toured the port of Tema to gain first-hand insight into port operations, including a visit to the Pong Unity Terminal.
A delegation from the Gambian Ministry of Finance has paid a working visit to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, seeking to understudy the authority's business operations and financial management systems as part of efforts to strengthen port administration in the Gambia. The visit, which forms part of broader bilateral engagements between Ghana and the Gambia, placed strong emphasis on public-private partnership arrangements, an area where GPHA has demonstrated significant success in driving infrastructure development and operational efficiency. The delegation were led through the authority's core functions and strategic vision of positioning Ghana as a leading maritime and trade hub in West Africa.
And GPHA is very, very particular about its human capacity, and so training is also done continuously to ensure that we are always abreast, our staff are always abreast with the evolution of this particular industry. And so this is just to say that we are open for collaboration and partnership, and so would want to grow together.
Speaking to Ion Port, the team lead, Ami Khan, underscored that the overarching objective of the visit is to draw lessons from how Ghana manages its state-owned enterprises, particularly in ensuring profitability and long-term viability.
And so that's an interest for us because we don't want government to just be inserting funds and not getting much in return.
The engagement also explored revenue optimization, asset management, and the digitalization of port processes, which have collectively enhanced efficiency and increased cargo throughputs at Ghana's ports.
Now, schedules of vessels in the ports like the ones you see here, those at anchorage and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate, you may need to know to clear your goods from the ports next. We have some health and safety tips next.
Eye wash stations. Eye wash stations are essential safety equipment designed to provide immediate decontamination for the eyes in case of exposure to hazardous substances. They are critical in workplaces where employees may be exposed to harmful chemicals or materials. They provide a quick and effective means to rinse the eyes, potentially preventing serious injuries. Having properly installed and maintained eye wash stations is a requirement in environments where eye hazards exist.
It's now time for some comments you've been sharing with us.
Dan from Tema says, "Good evening, Iron Ports. Please ask your guests how they are shaping government policies."
That's Section 43.
Yes.
Reserves the business to indigenous Ghanaians. So I think one of the things that this one falls already on the laps of leadership now. We started a certain fight.
Yes.
We will have to take some of these things to the High Court and just put for a certain mandamus order to be served on the GRA Customs Division, who allow some of these people to come into the port to work. It's as simple as that.
Right.
Sean Adu, a freight forwarder, says, "Ask our leaders what they are doing about the foreigners taking our jobs. It's high time this practice is curtailed."
Policies.
Just 30 seconds.
What are we doing? Of course, so like others have said earlier, for now there's some level of engagement on development of well, not the development of policies, but the implementation. That is the point it gets to us.
Yes.
I think there should be a lot more engagement at the norming stage.
Right.
Let's discuss the policies. If government is contemplating introducing a policy, the policy should not get to a point of implementation before we are called in to pretty much ask, do you agree or do you not agree? We should be involved in it. We should give inputs. We should own it from the start, and then we are able to shape it as the implementation gets onto the ground.
So that's all for this week's episode of Iron Pod. Thank you for watching, and thanks to the entire crew. Join us same time next week, and also follow us on our various social media platforms on your screens.